And hello, 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 everyone. Thank you for joining me today. Oh, I forgot. I forgot to switch things up here. Hold on one second, chat. One second. Let's see here. There we go. It's not the main channel, it's the first edition channel. Welcome, welcome, welcome back to another episode of the first edition, by the way. We are on currently how let's write a manga series. Well, with the audience participation part, and this is part 3 of that. So, last time we went over no, part 1 was going over the basic structures of the Kisho Tenketsu style, going over all that stuff, all the goodies, all the building blocks, all the tools you would need to make a story in the anime slash manga style. Okay? And that was basically what we covered. And the end of that episode, I said, okay, let's go ahead and try it out. Let's take it for a spin using the things that we built up together in the previous episodes, all that good stuff. The main 5-man band, the setting, the magical school, the the harem aesthetic, so to speak. But welcome everyone. Demon of Thy Sword said, "Thank you very much for the 2. Appreciate that." Part 3, I haven't finished yet. What a shame. I guess we can have another week. We can do another week if possible. I think we can do that. See if maybe we'll do a half and half next week. A part the next week maybe part of the stream could be people who still want to send in their projects, and then something else also. Something else also. I think that'll work. I think that'll work. Anyway. But hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Proton Stalker. Well, I missed part 1 and 2. What's going on? Well, part 1 was me basically going over the structure of Kisho Tenketsu and going over the tools and basically the structure of how to write a story in the manga slash anime style, and going over what we all did, today, and what we all put together over the past couple of other streams we did. Let's write a manga series, which is basically this. We settled on a fantasy realm with a magical school, and we developed the characters, the 5-man band, all that good stuff. And going off of that jumping point, those basic elements, I announced at the end of the part 1 that if anyone would like, they can participate in creative writing projects using those elements and the structure to make their own creative writing project and to send it in. We'll cover it live on stream, and we did that last time. Part 2 was covering 2 stories that were sent in. Fantastic, by Hex Harper and the Board Enthusiast. Both a lot of fun. And today we actually have what seems to be the remainder of Hex Harper's story. So last time it was like part 1. I said if you could manage to finish it by the time the deadline was, then you can just do the introduction and the development, which seems to be the case here. Seems to be the case. At least last time it was. At least last time it was. So it seems like Hex Harper has sent in the rest. And we're going to be covering that today. It's going to be fantastic. And we have a new one by Flying Turret 208. I think we're going to have some fun today. Let's see here. Board Enthusiast. I'm not going to be here for long. I'm powering through a paper for my final so I can get ahead of schedule. Oh, nice. Fantastic. Sounds like a good idea. Let's see here. Demon of the Sword. We're submitting our own takes on manga we've been working on. That's basically this central idea. Yeah. Central idea. Thank you very much. Hex Harper, GI board. Let's see. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Glad you could make it. And before we get started, however, I have some interesting news for Dr. Alpha Miracle Child. Now, if you are part of the subscribe star, then you already know what's coming ahead. But I will be releasing this either later today or tomorrow, more than likely tomorrow, because I want to add this in a huge, big ol' update with pages and all kinds of stuff. We have we've been putting together a nice big update for this one, and it's going to introduce more pages. I like to introduce a lot of pages with these updates, but this one I added a little extra. I'm going to be adding in 2 new perks, and these 2 new perks will be for the hardcover edition. I went over the numbers and the logistics with other people in the community who have other people in Comicsgate who have done hard copies before. So I managed to do all the number crunching a couple of months ago, and I would negotiate. I kind of coordinate with Adam Post, your boy Adam Post, and another creator called Vinny Tartamela, and they were N Post of course has publishing experience, and Vinny actually is running a campaign right now, which is 100% hard copy, hardcover. And so I went over the numbers with them, did all the numbers, did all the number crunching, and saw that yeah, this is a good idea. However, it will be a limited run. But let me check this out. I'll release I'll announce the perks. There's gonna be two perks in the update. But here's the cover. Here's the cover. Here we go. Let's check this out. Here we go, chat. Here's the cover by done by Andrew Huerta. He was the artist on this one. Uh, it's pretty good investment. Pretty good investment, I think. But he was a very popular artist, and I asked him to do mine. He said, "Sure, I'll do it," and it's fantastic. Thank you very much, Andrew Huerta. I think he did an excellent job. Here is, of course, Doctor Alpha. Here is uh, Glorious, the superhero Glorious that kind of recruits him, and then here is Mulvion, the Martian mastermind. Here over to the left, and we kind of went with a kind of a manga, more of a manga look, manga aesthetic with this one. Give a lot more energy, kind of like a One Punch Man sort of feel to it. And of course, Andrew Huerta is a very talented artist, very talented. But I thought this would be, since you are the ones who come to my writing channel, I thought this would be kind of interesting, kind of a you deserve to see it next, and then finally I have it revealed here, and then finally we'll have everything revealed to everyone who backed Dr. Alpha, perks, all that good stuff, all that good stuff. What you get in those, and costs and everything like that. So I think it's gonna have a lot of fun. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun. Let's see here, board enthusiast. We should do more first edition streams after the finals are over, and then we can dedicate more time to fun community projects like these. Yeah, I think it was fantastic. Everyone seems to be having a lot of fun with them, reading through them and participating. Let's see here. Let's see here. Hex Harper, buy several copies and make Dr. Alpha armor plus 70 against social justice. Dr. Alpha is going to be impregnable. He's going to be fighting social justice warriors like Ip Man fought black belts and fought Japanese black belts. It's going to be fantastic. Let's see here. Board enthusiast, I love how he refers to us as the range. Yes, it's the first edition is I'm moving all my morning streams to first edition, but the first edition is essentially the writing channel. This is where we go over because the morning nonsense stuff, that is essentially the other part of what the first edition was going to be. Going over the nonsense of the industry. So now I can just focus the first edition streams themselves to just writing and going over writing themselves and going over projects, things like that. Maybe some fan films, all that good stuff. All that good stuff. So, yeah, I wanted to show you this. Hopefully I'll be releasing this tomorrow, at the latest tomorrow. But this is the hardcover. This is gonna be the the hardcover, the variant cover for the hardcover edition of Dr. Alpha. And I quite liked it. It looks pretty good. It looks pretty good in my opinion. Anyway, now that that's over with, and through. Let's get to the good stuff, shall we? Let's get to the good stuff. So, let's see here. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish with the Hex Harpers. Let's go ahead and do Hex Harpers to see if we can what story he's going to conclude with this one. Let's check it out, chat. Let's check it out. Let's see here. Share story, and here we go. And we have the basically, a quick rundown is last time we covered the first half, which is introducing the character of Saya and her boyfriend Jen, and this is going to be the origin story revolving around let's see here, the priestess of the 5-man band that we put together, and the priestess is supposed to be the heart of the group. She's very caring. She's supposed to be very loving and everything, but she has a quirk, we'll say. She used to be a thief, and her habits die kind of hard. So even when we go into there, okay, even we go into there, even when we go into the story, the main story, the uh, the priestess will be trying to do good, trying to be the heart of the group, but like anyone else, she still has flaws. She kind of repented for old ways or whatever you want to write her as, but she's essentially going to be the heart of the story, and that's where we're at. And with Saya, she kind of forgot that it's going to be it was their her and Jen's anniversary from last time, and she goes off and bumps into a bishop, a man of the cloth, who has something interesting in his hands, but she doesn't steal it. In fact, the bishop thought that she might have stolen it, but he checks his hand and says, "Okay, it's still there." But Saya she did see it, and she goes back and says, "Okay, look, I have an idea. Let's go steal this thing." And but of course, she gets a couple of things. She managed to steal a few things, and she gets a gift for Jen, and of course the rest of their friends. I think Thin. I think their names were nicknamed Thin and Thick, which is pretty good. And where's my present? And let's see here. I wasn't paying attention. And weapon shop. She she was able to buy him a high quality dagger for their anniversary. She brought it back, and she brought some pastries also, and everyone enjoyed the pastries. And then, but she got Jen the high quality dagger. Let's see here. Okay, smack. Thin, yeah, thick and thin. There they are. With you through thick and thin. But they're named thick and thin because one is really big, and of course the other one is really thin. Saying, I don't know, should we really steal from the church? Which is probably, it's a good setup here because she's eventually going to end up inside the church as a part of the member of the clergy, being a priestess. So what that means is that this is setting up for a good twist of irony, a good twist of irony, and the scroll and there's page 9. Okay, here we go. So they said, let's go. Okay, let's go and go over the town guard patrols. I think where we left off last time. They're planning out the heist, so to speak. And Hex Harper left us on pins and needles as to where this is actually going to go. Anyway, page 9, panel 1, establishing shot of the four thieves sneaking toward the lavish cathedral. Though I'll admit, in my head, the building is more of a hybridization between that and a megachurch with other rooms like offices and classrooms for religious study. Caption, later that night, panel 2, they approach a window out of reach that's cracked open. And page 10, oh, very nice, very nice. So it's two panel page, giving us a wide view of things. Fantastic. Hey, Born Thursday. Hey, first edition. Are we only limited to making one episode per person, or can I work on? You can work on another. Absolutely. If you want to work on an additional one, you certainly may, and you can send it in, and we'll go over it for next time. Next stream will be like a half and half, sort of episode, so that it'll be like we'll cover some stories that people have sent in, that you have sent in. If anyone does, we'll cover it on the next time's stream, and then we shall continue on to something else, which will be pertaining to the subject matter. So it will be something entirely new. We still pertaining to the subject matter, but this stream will just be going over stories and going over them and all that good stuff. So let's check it out. Let's check it out, chat. But thank you very much, Ward Enthusiast. Thank you very much. Blue, hello, Blue. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chat. Is he a potion stalker? Bit of a klepto, eh? And essentially what her character is supposed to be. She's kind of like a roguish prankster, thief type. Let's see here. Hex Harper says, this is 24 pages, by the way. Powered through most of it last night. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Contrary to common belief, crunching like that is actually pretty good because they actually did studies on this where they took writers who took breaks and writers who didn't take breaks and who just went from beginning to the end of the writing. And the writers who did take breaks, they didn't do as good a job. The writers who didn't take breaks, their quality was higher because they're in the mindset. They didn't take a break from the mindset. They were in the flow and they continued in the flow. It's kind of like a this it was, swimming across a swimming pool and then you take a break. You're not going to do as well. You're not going to be as well do as well as a guy who doesn't. You just power through it, and it gets done. I don't know. It's something you can do in writing, but yeah, actually powering through something and it's actually from what I've heard is actually better. Same thing with studying. Actually, if you crunch, it's actually pretty good for you. You can remember it a lot easier, a lot better. I mean, not if you just crunch, like you have to study, but if you crunch at the end, like just before the test, it'll be fresher in your mind. But you have to study the stuff at least a little bit beforehand. But crunching is not a bad idea. It's actually a pretty good idea. It's actually a useful tool before a test. Just make sure it's not the only thing you're relying on. Let's see here. So, Saya giving Jen and Thick instructions. Thin asks a question. Saya, you and Jen give me a boost, and I'll find another way in for you. Thin, what am I doing? What am I doing then? Panel two. The three of them blow Thin off as Jen and Thick ready their hands as a step for her. Thin looks dejected. The other three, lookout duty. Thin, oh man. Panel three, Saya lands in the room, which just so happens to be the Archbishop's office. The box is sitting right there on his desk. Saya looks surprised to have found it already. Bum. Saya. Dot dot dot. Saya pocketing the box. Saya, huh? Well, that was easy. Panel five, her strutting out of the office, whistling a tune, oblivious to the surprise. Archbishop beside the entrance. Add reaction panel to her startled face. Young lady? Let's see. Mini reaction panel of Saya giving an awkward smile. Main panel is her breaking into a sprint away from the Archbishop. Zoom. Zoom. Archbishop, stop. Wait. Stop, cried the Archdeacon. That reminds me of Hunchback of Notre Dame almost. Panel 2, Saya making a turn, entering the main church proper. Panel 3, profile of her running down the nave. In the background is a huge stainless glass window depicting an image of finding absolution after the loss of everything else. Panel 4, the main cathedral door opens as Saya leaps out into the street. The two boys notice her. I got it, run, Saya says. Sound effects, slam. Panel 5, OTS of the Archbishop at the entrance as he sees the four run off. Archbishop, those poor souls. Panel 1, the four of them in front of the hideout, completely out of breath. The other three, huff, huff. Jen, huff, phew, we made it. Panel 2, get back inside. Saya's finishing the box out of her pocket, fishing the box out of her pocket, while the boys are eager to see it. Thin, come on, Saya, let's see it. Panel 3, Saya holding up the box. Saya, ta-da! Thick, you were right. A box like that has to have something expensive in it. Panel 4, Saya letting out the box down on the table and opening it. Let's find out. Panel 5, CEO of the open box. Inside is a very fancy brooch with a Maziel family crest. The Maziels is, in this case, being the main character's fallen noble house. Interesting. The board enthusiast, stop, you violated the law. Pay your fine now or face death, criminal. It's from Oblivion or something. The 4 off panel. Oh. Ooh, very nice. And then page 13. Panel 1, splash page of the box emitting a blinding light. The boys all recoil back as if in tremendous agony, while Saya stands her ground and shields her eyes. Arg, the boys say. Saya, arg. Page 14. Panel 1, close-up of Saya's talisman disintegrating off the necklace amidst the blinding light. Panel 2, the box clicking shut, Saya rubbing her eyes. The others are barely in the panel. Sound effects. Click. Saya. Oof. What the heck was that? Panel 3. Saya discovering that all three of them have turned into horrible abominations. They each have some remnant of their former selves, like still wearing a bits of their clothing or whatever, so the reader can tell them apart. Guys? Page 15. Panel 1. Close up of Saya's mortified. Saya, mortified. What happened to you? Panel 2. Saya vaulting over the table, grabbing the box and avoiding Thick pouncing towards her and crashing into the boxes of sweets. Thick. Roar. Saya. Hey, it's me. Have you lost your minds? Crash. Panel 3. Thick stuffing his face and with pastries while Saya runs off with the other two in pursuit. Let's see here. Page 16. Panel 1. In the city streets, Saya being chased by Thin and Jen. Saya, this is bad. I can't call for help. The guards will kill them. Panel 2. Saya turning the corner. Saya, gotta get back to the church. They'll help me. Maybe. Thin. Roar. Panel 3. Townsperson stepping out in front of the door, grumbling. Townsperson. What's with all the racket out here? Panel 4. Townsperson scrambling to close the door as Thin charges for him. Saya and Jen keep running. Thin. Growl. Townsperson. Wow! My cabbages! And panel 5. Thin scratching at the door. Slam. Scrit. 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 Then. Thin. Grrr. Shot of the cathedral, still a short distance away. Saya, almost there. Almost there. Let's see here. Page 17. Panel 1. A guard crossing the path. Saya runs into an alley. Saya. Crap. Panel 2. Jen following her in as the guard barely notices. Panel 3. Saya cornered in the hallway or the alleyway, scared. Jen approaches her. Grrr. Saya. Jen, please. Panel 4. Saya's hand pulling out the dagger. Saya, you gotta snap out of it. Panel 5. Saya pointing the dagger at Jen, arm trembling. She's screaming with tears in her eyes. Stay back. I was supposed to give this to you. Please don't make me use it. Oh, very nice touch there. Very nice touch. Let's see here. Jen pouncing. Roar. Saya. Yay! And then page 18. Panel 1. Jen lands on top of Saya. Saya is on the ground holding his head back and stabbing him the chest. Add a mini close-up panel and showing that the knife isn't penetrating very deep and that she doesn't have a good grip on it. Side note, I originally intended for the wound to be fatal. However, I worry that could be potentially clash with the overall tone of the series if we're going for something more lighthearted. That is still on the table if anyone finds it that more favorable. All that would change is making the knife go deeper and potentially some dialogue later. Just thought I'd mention that. Panel 2, close-up of Saya and Jen's faces as she struggles to keep him off from biting her face off. Saya, help! Panel 3, a magical blast of light knocks Jen off Saya. Wow. Jen, Saya, huh? Panel 4, the Archbishop holding out his hand, a town guard beside him. Archbishop, young lady, get back. I'll. Panel 5. Saya frantically applying pressure to Jen's stab wound. Archbishop and the guard are not the Archbishop and the guard are at a loss for words. Saya, you've got to help, quick, he's bleeding. Panel 1. Archbishop's office. Him sitting behind his desk and Saya sitting in front of him, hanging her head. The boxes on the desk between them. Caption. Sometime later. Archbishop, it might be a while before they wrangle up your friends, but I instructed the guard to capture them alive as promised. Panel 2, Archbishop holding up the box. You see, the box belonged to a member of the Mazael family. They were once a noble house that made a blood pact with Felgor, the devil dragon, over a century ago. Panel 3, the same, but he has more a sullen expression. Archbishop. It's enchanted with an extremely ancient and powerful spell. Only a family member can safely open it. Anyone else? You saw for yourself what happened. It's practically a miracle that you were unaffected. Saya, not panel 4. Saya, not looking at him, rubbing the string of the necklace between her thumb and four fingers. Saya, yeah. Page 20. Panel 1, the Archbishop setting the box down and moving toward her. Archbishop, concerning what happened to you. Him on the knee, on his knee, holding her hand reassuringly. Despite your misdeeds, I see you have a kind heart. It would be a shame to let it go to waste out on the streets or in a jail cell. Panel 3. Him guiding her to the office. Archbishop, with the right guidance, you could become so much greater than you ever would be picking pockets and stealing food. Panel 4. In the cathedral, Archbishop is holding up his hands in reverence beside her. Archbishop. It's 1 second here, chat. Make sure I got this going. There we go. Archbishop. In this place, you will find that guidance and become a symbol, hope, and an inspiration to everyone around you. Panel 5. The Archbishop fired up like he's giving a sermon. Saya is straight faced and cuts to the chase. Archbishop. In time, should we ever restore your friends, you'll be a. Saya. Okay, cut the theatrics. I'm in. Fantastic. Fantastic. Let's see here. Page 21, panel 1. The Archbishop looks happy, but also like the wind partially went out of his sails. Saya nods. Archbishop. Oh, well, do you really mean that? Saya. Hmm? Saya reflecting on what happened. My friends are cursed because of me, because of a selfish belief that it's okay to steal from those I think deserve it. Jen's love saved me, and I nearly killed him. I need help. Panel 3. The Archbishop holds out his hand, while she holds up the empty wallet. Archbishop. It may be a long time to change yourself and to change them back. You can start by returning my wallet. Saya. I already spent it all. Panel 4. Saya handing him the knife and him refusing. Saya, most of it went to this. You can have it. Keep it. Let it be your protection and a constant reminder of why you're here. Page 22. Panel 1. Then walking back toward the direction of the office. Archbishop, if you would humor me for just a moment, could you tell me what exactly is in the box? Panel 2. Saya remaining silent. Panel 3. Saya about to burst into tears. Nothing worth my friends' lives. Panel 4. Saya crying in the Archbishop's arms. With an answer like that, there's hope for you yet. Page 23. Panel 1. Saya kneeling in prayer in her priestess robes, wearing the necklace string around her neck and the dagger at her hip. Narration caption. From that point on, I became a priestess. I sound like that would be the title for a manga by itself. From that point on, I became a priestess. I see panel 2. Saya bowing to the nurse of the Lazuli Academy in the school nurse's office. Narration caption. After a year, the Archbishop sent me to be an assistant nurse at Oh, very nice. That's an excellent way to tie her into the other students in the academy itself. Fantastic. That's a good idea. Panel 3. Panel 3. Saya arriving in a room where Jen, thick and thin, still monsters, are trapped behind a wall of energy, powered by runes. She's carrying a large basket of food. Let's see here. As the board enthusiast, we got some RN high school host club situation happening. Is that the one where it's like a girl who dresses up as a guy, or they think she's a guy, and she goes to like an all guys school or something like that? Something like that. I think I've heard of that one. I think. You know, that's a usual. That's like it's actually a typical scenario. of those sorts of incidents where a girl has to pretend she's a guy and goes to an all guys school. It seems to be a popular scenario in fan fiction and romance stories. I'm not really sure why, but uh, it just happens to be that way. I see panel three, Sai arriving in the room, and she's carrying a large basket of food. It's incredibly difficult to undo curses that strong, and progress is slow. But I still have hope. I still visit them every week. Panel 4, a recreation of the first time Saya and Sato, the main character, meet. Narration caption. And then it was as if the devil dragon himself stumbled into my life. Page 24. Panel 1, Sato with glowing eyes of evil holding out a flaming ball of energy. Behind him are silhouettes of all his different family members. Looming over them all is a silhouette of the devil dragon. Narration caption. It's his accursed family that destroyed everything I once had, but Sato waving at Saya, urging her to hurry up. Beside him is an after image of Jen as he once was, waving as well. Narration caption. Sato reminds me so much of it. Sato and Jen. Come on, Saya, you're going to miss the fun. Haha. The end. Well, that was really good. That's a really good. A lot of good ideas in there too, and very clever adding her in as a nurse for the school. That's really good. That's really good. So bravo on that one. Bravo on that one. The board enthusiast. That's right. She broke 80,000 yen vase, and it worked for the hosts to pay off her debt. It was pretty funny. I've heard people talk about it. Heard people like it. And I see a blue. They mistake her for a guy, and she joins an all guy club. The school is just for a bunch of rich kids, though. That's also in there. It's always rich guys and high school, and the girl having to pretend to be a guy or something, in an all male school, and they're all rich. It's always like a rich boy school. It's usually the scenario. It's kind of like how it's usually the other scenario is love triangle with two very very popular or two very very powerful men. Like it's usually in high school, and one kid is rich, and the other guy is not really rich, but has a personality that she likes, like a strong personality or something like that. That tends to be it. It's one of the stock scenarios of those sorts of situations. Let's see here. Okay, fantastic. That was great. Excellent work, Hex Harbor. You had the introduction, you introduced the characters, and then you had the development. You had everything. You start off with the characters being introduced as thieves, and we get to see who they are right from the get go. Very well done. Very well done. And then after that, we had the development. We got to see who these characters were. We got to see what kind of world they lived in, and what the circumstances within the world were. And then the twist was, the development continued until they stole the object, and the twist ultimately was the object was cursed, and that really brought her to her whole life changing. So she goes into her life changing. She joins the priesthood, and to make up for her misdeeds, more or less. And then the conclusion is, of course, what happened afterwards. She's being transferred. She becomes a priestess. She gets transferred to the school as a nurse, and then that she still takes care of her friends that have turned into monsters. So this is pretty good. This is very very good. Very well done, Hicks Harper. Very well done. It's you clearly understood the structure. Fantastic. Awesome. 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 Let's see here. So far, I've received a lot of good, excellent stories. Fantastic. Okay, go ahead and close that one out. So, bravo, Hex Harper. Well done. Well done. Okay, so next we have one done by Flying Turret 208. And let's check it out, shall we? Let's see here. Make sure everything's good to go. And here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go, chat. A Dragon's Demons by Flying Turret 208. Let's check it out, shall we? Let's check it out. Let's see here. Let's see. A board enthusiast, her aspect as her nurse aspect really tied her into Herola's heart. I fully agree. I fully agree. That's an excellent point. Absolutely. Let's see, Demon of Thy Sword. Yeah, your story functions more very much like a pilot of an anime. Really good job. Really good job. It does. It does. I could see this being a pilot of an anime. So excellent. Very well done. Very well done. So let's see what Flying Turret 208 has for us today. Let's check it out. Make sure everything is fine. Everything is fantastic. Make sure we're all good to go, chat. Make sure we're all good to go. All right. All right. Let's go. Let's go. Demons Dragons. Let's check this out. Let's check it out, chat. Let's see. Is there a no add comment? See if we can make it a little bit bigger. I guess we can't. I don't know. Here it is. Here it is. There we go. There we go. That way you can see it easier, and I can see it easier. Be good. I think now we should be able to find out. And we should be able to see it. All right, chat. Let's head in, shall we? Let's head in. Uh, as class was nearing its end, an old man staggers forward, using a cane to support himself. He waves his hand as as so this should be the introduction. So let's check it out. Uh, he waves his hands as an image appears on his blackboard. He turns to the class. Who can tell me exactly what this image is referring to? As a girl in the back quickly shot her hands up, shifting her glasses up on her face, the teacher smiled and pointed at her. That is referring to the Caroline curse, developed by an enchantress who had studied at the school. She quickly barked out to the teacher, who nodded, smiling. He waved his hand around in various methods as the board came alive, cleaning up, and showing a reference to the page of a book. Let's see here. This is your homework for tonight, and don't forget to the research project I gave you last week. I want a presentation started this week or next week. Upon finishing his statement, the bell rang. The students filled out to head home through their methods. The girl who sat in the back lifted her bag onto the table and began putting everything away. While the teacher laid his head back in his chair, she filed various items into it, picking up her deck of playing cards, and she always had on her table, and walked up to the teacher, who kindly waved goodbye. Let's see. She then stopped at the doorway, turned on his desk, and spoke. I thought it was an old man. I guess it's an old woman. Okay. I actually wanted to learn more about her. If you could help me. Oh no! Wait, no! No, it is an old man. That was that was the student. Okay. She then stopped at the doorway and turned to his desk and spoke. I actually want to learn more about her. If you would help me. His eyes opened slowly and gave a slight smile. He stood up and carefully from his chair. Do you have time? The girl nodded her head. I planned on heading on to the game club to play cards. I like this idea right here. Then the idea that the school has clubs like a Japanese high school. That's what they usually have. Because I know in Japan, the clubs are a big thing. They're a big thing. Okay, they're a big thing, and in fact, it's not like you're technically obligated to join a club. You can totally choose not to choose a club, but it's just that if you don't choose a club in a Japanese high school, from what I've learned, you're kind of looked down upon. You're kind of given you can have how they have like the word neat and otaku. You're given one of those titles. This is everyone knows how terrible and lazy of a person you are. So it's like otaku and neat. I forgot what it's called. It's kind of like the go homers or something like that. It kind of translates to like the go homers, something like that. So while you're not officially obligated to join clubs in Japan, after school clubs in Japan, you are kind of socially obligated to, because you don't have to, but you know, you have to. I join clubs. I'm an American, but I join clubs, but they were usually creative writing clubs, things like that. And see here, they're creating creative writing clubs, journalist club. I joined that one too. By the way, journalism is you don't have to become a journalist, but tapping into that field is a really good way to practice your skills. It's a really good way because you have an editor who is supposed to tell you what's good and what isn't. what things work and what doesn't. I'm and put things a little bit further, Neil Gaiman was a journalist before he became a fiction author. He tried to become a fiction author first, became a journalist, and then became a successful fiction author. I don't think that's coincidental. So, um, if you're interested in creative writing, I would suggest at least dabbling a little bit in journalism, maybe school journalism, or studying journalism a little bit. This is a place where you can have an editor that speaks honestly with you. That's why that's why I say with Kibble Smith and everything, the New Warriors, that Marvel needs to fire all the editors and hire high school bullies, because that's essentially what the attitude you need in your editors. Someone who will tell you what's what, tell you the truth straight to your face. Someone will say this is terrible, this is good, do this, do that. But according to what I've seen, even high school bullies would do an infinitely better job than current day Marvel editors. So just any higher high school bullies to whip these guys into shape. Okay, this is not acceptable. The current comic book writers, it's not acceptable. Okay, they're awful scripts, and unfortunately they're attached to, usually attached to very talented artists, which is why they appear to be passable and they absolutely are not. Let's see here. Let's see here. Anyway, anyway. Let's see. But I do like this idea that there are clubs in the school, and because it gives the idea, because your usual club, like maybe the chess club, is a really famous one for nerds, uh, which I technically joined one before. I technically it wasn't like a school club, but it was like an extracurricular one. It was like outside. And then there's like gaming clubs, which I never joined. No. I didn't join any gaming clubs. Like, but I think there was like something called anime clubs. I didn't join that one either, but I do know it exists. I do know it existed. And then there's like shop and there's other things like that. There's other clubs like that. But I usually join the creative writing clubs, and like one journalist club. Those are the ones I kind of gravitated to. But you have clubs like that. But this is a wizarding world that could possibly be in a fantasy world. So the idea is, what kind of clubs do they have? Because you can like reference something like Little Witch Academia, but I don't think from what I remember, and I watched both seasons, or the seasons that are out right now, and I don't remember them having any actual clubs. They go to classes, because oddly enough, Little Witch Academia is a high school anime that actually has high school stuff in it. It's actually an high school anime where they actually go to class, and where the plots revolve around them going to class, which is a kind of a rarity. It's kind of a rarity. But you have that, so they don't have time. Usually, they go into clubs in these high school anime, because it kind of centers around the lives of the students outside of the classroom. But you know, places like Little Witch Academia, settings like that, the classes are so fantastical and intriguing that you don't have to skip over that stuff. However, going by this, what would it be like? I wonder. What would clubs be like? What would it be like? Like what would a magical school? If it's a magical school, what would it be like having clubs there? What do wizards have as extracurricular activities? Like a fortune telling, transformation club? I don't. uh, what would they have their own? It would be funny if they had their own anime club. Like it's just you have like tarot cards, fortune reading, uh, prestidigitation club or something like that, and then you still have anime club. There's a bunch of wizards sitting around watching anime. That'd be interesting. That'd be interesting. I think that'd be pretty interesting. Let's see here. You know what? Let's see here. Hex Harper. I was in an anime club occasionally. I think Smudboy said he was in an anime club when he was in school. I think so. I think so. So there's nothing wrong with anime club. I just know that's another a club you could join. Blue. I was in Glee Club. Yeah, that's another one. Yeah, a Glee Club. Now I wasn't in that one of those, but from what I remember, yeah, yeah, that's another one of the options you could have done. Let's see here. Born Enthusiast, I would love to join a poker or a blackjack club. Now that would be an interesting idea. A gambling club. It's Wizard Gambling Club. That'd be interesting. Let's see here. Let's see here. Girl nodded her head. I planned on heading to the game. I planned on heading to the game club to play cards, but they canceled earlier. Mr. Drone, Mr. Drone, Mr. Drone chuckled softly as he walked over to the board. Please pull one of the desks over to the board. You'll get a special lesson, Carline. He waved his hands as chalk started drawing. Instead of markings just appearing as usual, you see, Miss Paraboda was a great person, and in her life was in a five with a band of five. This ragtag group was quite extraordinary, with with multiple criminals captured and imprisoned by the end of their freshman year. They also all met each other during their freshman year. Carline was quickly scribbling in her binder, which was packed with paper, and she was deep in the extra lesson. She chuckled at the sight underneath his breath, whispering something before continuing. That is, aside from the pranksters and then the enchantress and a nobody, this nobody was a childhood friend of Paraboda. The friend had been a great help to Paraboda in her early years, where she was raised with a battered up clothing and hand me downs due to the financial situation of her family. The nobody was from a rich family and would oftentimes steal money from his mother. As for the father, he was not present in the family, and so it was assumed that he was off working in some prestigious position or another. He paused, knowing Carline had something to ask, as he turned around to face her, where she was just setting her pencil down. But it was a lie. So who was he really? Let's see. He spun back and around to continue. The family was I was forgotten by time, but it was set to where almost only women could. Obviously, the family was forgotten by time, but it was set to where almost only women could come from the heritage. About 10 generations before the Nobody, a prestigious, power hungry family made a pact with a demon and a dragon, but the two conflicted. To save themselves, they sought to kill both and succeeded. However, the two banded together to curse the bloodline. Their wealth remained, but they were doomed, with men ceasing from their bloodline. And so on Mr. Drone droned of the group's backstory. Half an hour later, she began wrapping up the introductions. I I apologize, but we can continue at a later point, my sweet. He caught himself and looked down, looked at the window inside. Everything I told you, that nobody, that was me. I was Miss Pardoba's childhood friend. I was the de facto leader of the group. I married Miss Pardoba, and I took her last name to cancel my heritage. There's one last villain left for the group to kill, but their death day is not today. Now I'd suggest you get going. Your mother must be worried sick. I can tell you more about Miss Parboda some other time. The girl nodded, puzzled and astonished. She stood up with her now full binder and moved to his desk. Thank you for telling me the truth. And here, this was something that was given to me for Christmas. She pulled out her favorite deck of playing cards and set them on his desk. Please don't leave me those. I know how much you value them, but if you must, here, take this. It is my own personally important item. He reached in and pulled out a picture frame and showed her what its contents were. In the picture was a group of five teenagers gathered happily together on what looked like their graduation day. Four women and one guy. He pointed to a fox girl and a cat girl who stood on opposite sides of the photo, with two human girls to the left and right of the one guy. This is Miss Paraboda, and you are what amounts to her incarnation. This is your grandmother. Those two always got into fights, but they were great when working together. If those two had joined together, they may have accomplished so much more. But the way they fell out, shattered the group into a web. We all had some connections to each other, but I was the only one who was still friends with them all. She took her cards back and stared at the picture. You you give out so much and keep so little, and now I know why. Thank you, mister. In private, you may call me Mr. Perboda, but during class, keep to Mr. Drone, and please keep the picture. He faintly smiled to her, and she nodded, packing into her bags and waving goodbye to Mr. Perboda, hurriedly running out of the classroom. He laid back in his chair, and as he carefully motioned his hands, his body vanished from the room. He appeared in an empty house where he sat in his chair. Oh, if time would let me forget. I've been alive so long. Why won't the times let me join her? As he stood from his couch, he swiftly moved to get ready for his plans coming come nightfall. Let's see here. Once Darkness arrived, once Darkness arrived, he was ready. His body turned scaly, with fire slowly coming off. The fire then turned toward the body, burning and into it a hide. As he slowly morphed, he used magic to shrink himself to counter his growth. Eventually, it finished, and he was a dragon. Tonight, I continue the hunt. As he took off into the black, ordinary was something he never understood. His powers preventing that. In the school's records, his file was listed as Damien G. Drone. When unscrambled, you find that it is forms two words, demon and dragon. His record ends with the phrase hinting toward supporting this. May your wealth not be a hoard, and your methods free from the dark. This goes to show that he is definitely of that heritage. A dark figure watched as the dragon took off, and he then looked back to whom he was speaking to. Whoever he is, I don't understand your interest in him aside from his heritage, mistress. Let's see here. Note: the 10 part that occurs twice, as what I left could be key. Let's see here. Let's see. Key established settings. Here we go. They was introduced. Very good. They got an introduction of the character. You had got some development with the extra lesson, and you got the twist was that it was him. He's still the guy from a long time ago. I guess the main character is still alive, hunting down the last person, the last bad guy, and the ending was just that. The conclusion was just this going over the fact that his place in the world again. Now, what I would do, the only thing I would think I would change is the fact that he just exclaims or he explains to the student who he really is, and and then just show us later on. It's the only thing I think I would change with this. Introduce the character of Mr. Drone, then move down to the exposition where he explains the backstory and the extra lesson, and then the twist would be us going back, without revealing who he was, and the twist would be us seeing that when he transforms, that he is the dragon. And then the audience can see, oh look, what a twist. But other than that, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. Well done, well done. You got the beginning, you got the introduction. You introduced Mr. Drone. You had the development, introducing and developing and fleshing out the world and his place within the world. And yeah, that's the only thing I would change. That's the only thing I would change actually, is you know him revealing himself to this student, and then saving that revelation for the full revelation to the twist, where later on in the twist part of the Kisho Tenketsu style, just have it where the audience sees Mr. Drone go back, we following him, and we're wondering why we're following him, and then he transforms into the dragon, and then we see that he was the guy he was talking about, and his secret is still there, or that he was keeping a secret. He's actually the guy being taught about. He's teaching his own history more or less. As And yeah, and that's the conclusion. This follows up on his flight into the dark. All right, so that was pretty good. That's pretty good. Very well done. Excellent stories today. Excellent stories. And fantastic, everyone. Fantastic. And again, okay, let's close it out here. Close it out here. Yeah, that's really good. Really good. I like the stories. Fantastic job. This one seemed like an epilogue, while Hex Harper seemed like a the backstory, like a side chapter of. I think it was almost seemed to be meaningful. It's like a side chapter or like a step back. You know, the main story goes on, and then we take a step back and we kind of look and to see what the backstory of the priestess was. So we get to see it, and then we continue on with the story. I've seen manga and anime do that a lot. So well done, everyone. Well done. And see, Flying Turret 208. Sorry, I'm late. Just got here. Going to listen to start. No problem. No problem. Fortunately, they stay up. All right. But yeah, we read through these. And again, I'll go ahead and close out the stream here. But again, well done. And again, you still have next week. We'll be doing the first half, maybe the first third, or depending how many entries we get. But we'll be continuing reading stories and going through these projects next week, and then we'll have a little something to go over also pertaining to the subject matter. But excellent job, everyone. Thank you for joining me today, and hopefully, I'm looking forward to seeing any more stories that have been coming in. And I will, of course, see you all next time on the first edition. So, take care, everyone, and I'll see you next time.